Hey everyone, it's Tina from Tina's Crafty Crochet, and we are going to learn the popcorn stitch. And I've already started this little swatch, and let me just pull this out. And each pattern calls for different amounts of stitches in your popcorn stitch, and whether you skip a stitch or popcorn into every stitch. I just started with a half double base, and I did that in a contrasting color, and these kind of look like flowers now that I think of it. And what a popcorn stitch is, it is 5 stitches of the same size into the same stitch, and then you join them together with a slip stitch and you chain 1 to lock it. These are double crochets. Just for gauge purposes, I'm using a 5mm or an H hook. And since I'm going to be working with double crochets, I am going to chain 2 here. And I'm going to yarn over, and I'm going to go into this first chain space right here. And I'm going to put a shell or a fan, which is multiple double crochets in 1 stitch. So I'm going to do 5. So if you need help with the double crochet, I do have a video with that. That would be 3, 4, and 5. And every pattern that calls for a popcorn stitch is slightly different. So please read your pattern. So now that we have our fan or shell, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up my loop and remove my hook. And then I'm going to go into this first double crochet, front or back, it doesn't matter. I like to go through both loops. And since I'm making all my popcorns face this way, I'm going to just go like this, in through the front, put my hook back in that loop, tighten it up, and you can really make your stitches go any way you want. Slip stitch, pull it tight, and then chain 1. And this does use a lot of yarn. You see how that popcorn stitch looks just a little different than this, because I push these back the opposite way. I'll show you what I mean. Let's pull that out, pull that back up. Okay, so we'll go in from the back, and we're going to slip stitch here and chain 1. And see how it looks all funky? All you do is you just take your fingers and you pop it back, and it gives you a nice little texture. Well, let's try it again. So we're going to yarn over, since we're doing double crochets, go into the next chain 1 right there, and we're going to yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and we're going to do that 5 times total. So this makes number 2, number 3, number 4, and like I said, you can see this uses a lot of yarn. I don't like using this for a whole blanket or pattern because it does use so much yarn, but it's great for accent. So we're going to go in through the back of the first one right here. If I can get the camera to focus. There we go. And then we're going to put our hook back on our loop, tighten it up, and then we're going to slip stitch right through there and chain 1. And then I'm going to take my finger and I'm just going to poke it back to the front. And we'll do 3 more. Let's see here. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Pull it up, slip our hook into that first one, tighten it down, slip stitch, and chain 1. Don't forget your chain 1 because that locks your popcorn stitch in. And it also gives you something to work on your next round if you're doing this in rounds. Three, 4, and 5. Pull up a loop, come into your first one, insert hook back into loop, tighten, slip stitch, chain 1, poke it through. And our last one here, let's go in here, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Alright, pull up our loop, insert, go into the working yarn, tighten, slip stitch, chain 1, poke it. And that is the popcorn stitch. And this is what the back side looks like. I hope you enjoyed this little tutorial. Give us a thumbs up and subscribe. And as always, until next time, happy hooking.